Picture this. You've just made a perfect batch of crispy French fries, but now you're staring at a pot full of golden, bubbling cooking oil. Throwing it away feels like a waste, especially since humans have been frying food since the ancient Egyptians fried dough over 3,000 years ago. Back then, fat was a precious resource. You didn't waste a single drop. But today, a debate rages in home kitchens everywhere. Can you safely reuse cooking oil, or are you slowly turning your dinner into a chemical hazard? Today, we're looking past the frying pan and into the science of oil degradation. The answer isn't a simple yes or no, it's a fascinating chemical countdown. To understand what happens to oil, we have to look at what it actually is. Most cooking oils are made of triglycerides, but when you subject oil to high heat, air and the moisture from your food, a chaotic chemical reaction begins. The water in your food essentially attacks the oil structures, breaking them apart in a process called hydrolysis. At the exact same time, oxygen jumps in, causing oxidation. Have you ever noticed that oil gets darker, thicker, and smells a little funky after a couple of uses? That isn't just food residue, that's polymerization. The oil molecules are literally linking together to form larger, sticky chains. If you've ever had to scrub a gummy, impossible-to-remove residue off the side of an old frying pan, you've met polymerized oil firsthand. So it gets sticky and dark, but is it actually dangerous? Here is where the science gets serious. Every oil has a smoke point, the temperature where it stops shimmering and starts burning. But here's the surprising part. Every time you reuse oil, its smoke point drops. A batch of oil that was perfectly safe to heat to 400 degrees on Monday might start smoking at just 350 degrees on Wednesday. When oil smokes, it breaks down and releases toxic compounds. The most notorious are aldehydes. Scientific studies have directly linked dietary aldehydes to oxidative stress and cellular damage in the human body. Furthermore, continuous reheating causes the healthy, unsaturated fats in the oil to mutate into trans fats. The more times you heat that same batch, the less nutritious and the more potentially toxic it becomes. Does this mean you must toss your oil after a single use? Not necessarily. Food scientists agree you can reuse oil, provided you follow a few strict rules. First, the type of oil matters. Polyunsaturated oils, like regular soybean or corn oil, degrade rapidly, but oils high in saturated or monounsaturated fats, like peanut oil, canola oil, or traditional beef tallow, are much more chemically stable under repeated heat. Second, the ultimate enemy of oil is leftover food. Those little black specks of burnt batter left in the pan, they are carbon accelerators that will ruin your oil overnight. To reuse oil safely, you must let it cool, strain it thoroughly through a fine mesh sieve or coffee filter, and store it in a dark, cool place. Light and heat are the enemies of longevity. Even then, culinary experts recommend reusing oil no more than 2 to 3 times. So, can you reuse cooking oil? Yes, but you have to treat it like a ticking clock, not a bottomless well. History shows us that fats were once treated with immense respect, filtered, clarified, and stored meticulously. Today, science backs up those ancient habits. Keep it clean, keep it cool, and know when it's time to say goodbye. The next time you fry, you aren't just cooking, you are conducting a high-stakes chemistry experiment right on your stove. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the everyday things we take for granted, hit that like button, share this with the designated chef in your family, and subscribe